Hello, this is Father. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. First, I'm going to start with SPY. Okay, we may have something going on like this. This is on a daily chart, and so if we looked at this as a selling climax, automatic reaction, a straight test, and then um, some type of move up here, we'll probably then go back down to test the bottoms, whether it's a sign of weakness or strength, and then have a reaction from there, depending on what type of volume we get. It did miss the 404 that would incline me to think that it was going to burst upwards. But that might be the overall outlook in the future when if it does do a pattern like this, that it'll break out much higher. Uh, but they like to accumulate a lot before they bring it up because they want it cheap and be able to sell it high. Speaking of that, let's go to AMC. Okay, so this here I have a Moxie indicator on it, right? Moxie indicator is really a good tool to use if you're really wanting to look at the strength of something. Uh, Most people don't even know about this indicator. I think it's called Moxie arrows on TradingView. But what it does is like anything over 30 or in the negative 30s is showing strength and weakness, right? And as you can see, this is coming down and it's below 30 now, and it's heading back towards the red zone to be weakness, even though it's up higher. Uh, this could be a formulation of different things. But if you look here, I would say they collected, collected, collected. Then when they were down here, they collected and rose it up and then sold it off, whoever the composite operator is now. Then they let it fall down. They collected, 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 brought it all the way up, sold it off. Now it's coming down. See this big sell volume? It's at the top. You want to see this type of volume at the bottom, and then we'll know we're moving somewhere. Now, um, in the past, what I've used is the point and figure. I guess I can leave both of them up, I think. Anyway, with the point and figure for AMC, we see that it made a row of X's, and then in the past, we had two different kind of scenarios, right? We had one where it just gradually kept going up, but this one already had two flat bottoms. And the other example is we had one and then another one that went deeper, uh, which would have been a selling climax. And then it went up and made a spring and then sprung into an SOS and took off. Here, it seems like we need quite a bit more. We're going to have a row of O's. It's going to go under 7. May not be tomorrow exactly, but so actually 650 makes the next row of O's because they have to be they start 3 down from there. So between 7 and 650, and then we'll have a row of O's, and then that row of O's should either go further down, which would be um, between $5 and $5.50, or it should be uh, equal to the between 6 and $5.50 and be an equal line here. Uh, but the equal lines are a little harder to transcribe, right? It's hard to kind of figure out what they're going to do with those. So, um, yeah, but just think we're still in the early stages and we may have not got our selling climax yet. It doesn't look like we have from when I'm looking uh, when I'm looking at the chart. I do not see that we've had a selling climax, and a selling climax it will have this type of stoppage. It stops. It like comes in, a bunch of buyers step in, institutions, retail cannot buy this big of candles. Institutions stop it, and they're going to make that the low point. They're going to buy it up. So here and here were the low points, and then they didn't really spend that much money to bring it up before they sold it off way at the top. And then you look back, let's go back to time. Here you see they took it off like crazy and sold it with the buy button went away, and then kind of went flat, and then institutions came back in, bought it up, sold it off. Retail kind of like stopped it, so they were like, oh, okay, well, we'll push it up more, and then they sold it off up here, and they seen that there was still a whole bunch of retail interest, so they started buying up. They bought up, they pushed it up, and once they were up here, a bunch of institutions jumped in, and then they brought it down, and they kind of let retail get scared, trying to scare them out. They showed that there was a lot of strength here by not selling off when it did that drop, and then they pushed it up, and then they sold a lot of it off right at the beginning, but then they spent the next 6 months selling it back to retail for till they decided to take it down. And when they took it down hard. And yeah, and we're kind of still in this downward trend. You know, it's still been kind of downward. But anyway, just want to make you aware of that. Hope everybody's been having a good time. Have nice holidays. Talk to you later. Catch you on the flip side.